Maps are often perceived as objective representations of reality, neutral guides to our world. Yet throughout history, these seemingly impartial documents have served a far more complex purpose. Empires understood that maps were not merely tools for navigation or exploration. They were powerful instruments of propaganda, control, and manipulation. Empires wielded cartography as a strategic weapon, subtly shaping global perceptions. Though appearing objective, maps were meticulously crafted to serve imperial agendas. This manipulation aimed to legitimize imperial power and justify relentless expansion. It sought to mold how the world was understood, both by subjects and rivals. Cartographic manipulation involved a complex interplay of methods, each designed to deceive. These methods included deliberate omission, strategically leaving out inconvenient truths. They also involved exaggeration, inflating claims beyond reality. In some cases, empires resorted to outright fabrication, inventing features or territories. The seemingly innocent lines and colors on a map held immense power. They could rewrite history, erase cultures, and lay claim to vast, distant lands. Understanding this manipulation is crucial to comprehending imperial ambitions. A common tactic employed by empires was the blatant exaggeration of their territorial claims. Maps would depict borders encompassing vast, often uncontrolled lands. This served multiple strategic purposes for the imperial powers. Such grand depictions were designed to intimidate rivals and deter potential challenges. They projected an undeniable image of imperial strength and boundless reach. This visual dominance subtly influenced diplomatic negotiations and international relations. Consider the British Empire's extensive use of maps during its zenith. British cartography consistently emphasized its unparalleled global reach. These maps highlighted dominance over key trade routes and vital strategic locations worldwide. They presented an empire on which the sun never set, a visual testament to its perceived invincibility. This cartographic narrative reinforced its global authority. It also subtly discouraged other nations from contesting its vast dominion. Empires frequently employed a more insidious form of manipulation, the omission or downplaying of indigenous populations. They systematically erased the presence of established indigenous territories and societies from their maps. This tactic served a chilling purpose. It effectively dehumanized the inhabitants of conquered lands, reducing them to non-entities. This made their subjugation seem less morally reprehensible to the colonizers. Maps depicted vast empty spaces, seemingly ready for European colonization. These blank areas ignored centuries of existing cultures, complex societies, and established land use. This deliberate erasure was particularly prevalent during the Age of Exploration. It continued through the brutal scramble for Africa. By presenting lands as terra nullius, or empty land, empires justified their invasion and appropriation. The absence of indigenous names or boundaries on maps implied a lack of ownership. This narrative paved the way for unchecked imperial expansion. Another sophisticated form of manipulation involved selective cartography. Empires meticulously highlighted resources and strategic advantages within their own claimed territories. Simultaneously, they obscured or minimized those of their rivals. This included emphasizing valuable mineral deposits or vast tracts of fertile land within their borders. They would also prominently feature navigable waterways or advantageous port locations. Conversely, similar resources in competing nations were often downplayed or ignored. This selective presentation directly influenced global trade patterns and investment flows. It directed capital and commerce towards imperial holdings. This strategic cartography ultimately influenced the delicate balance of global power. By controlling the narrative of resource distribution, empires could bolster their economic standing. They could also undermine the perceived wealth and potential of their adversaries. Maps became economic blueprints, guiding exploitation and investment. Beyond territorial and resource claims, maps were powerful tools for reinforcing imperial ideological narratives. Empires often depicted themselves as the undisputed center of the world. They literally placed their own territories at the map's heart. This Eurocentric, or imperial-centric perspective, was a common feature of historical cartography. It visually reinforced the idea of their own inherent superiority and centrality. This placement legitimized their perceived right to rule over others. The very act of mapping, of defining and naming territories, symbolized imperial power and control. It was an assertion of authority over the land and its people. Maps became a visual manifestation of imperial dominance and a tool for its perpetuation. They were not just geographical representations, they were political statements. These statements were designed to instill a sense of natural order with the empire at its apex. This ideological reinforcement shaped generations of global understanding. The historical use of maps by empires was a sophisticated and pervasive form of propaganda. Maps were far more than navigational aids. They were carefully constructed tools. They were designed to shape perceptions, justify actions, and maintain power. Understanding this deliberate manipulation provides a critical perspective on historical narratives. It reveals how seemingly objective information can be weaponized. It highlights the profound influence of cartography in shaping our understanding of the world. Even today, the legacy of these manipulated maps persists in our collective consciousness. They continue to influence geopolitical boundaries and cultural identities. Recognizing this history empowers us to critically examine all representations of our world. The lines on a map are never truly neutral. They are imbued with the intentions and biases of their creators. By dissecting these historical deceptions, we gain a deeper appreciation for the enduring power of cartography.